Right, welcome to Back to Football Dad's Army, the Arsenal Alliance, and we are joined this week by Dan the Gooner from the Gooner channel. How you doing, Dan?
Very well, very well.
We've got if you like Dan's channel, go and follow it. I've pinned his channel link to the top of the comments bar. So if anyone likes to see Dan's channel, it's a blinding channel. Go and click on that, and you'll go straight there. Sub to his channel. And don't forget to stick a like on mine and sub to mine as well, if you care to. I'd much appreciate it. But we're going to talk about the game yesterday, Arsenal, Liverpool, a game that I was scared of, a game that I really thought we was going to get annoyed in. And Dan said to me, relax, don't worry, we're going to beat them. And he was right. But 3-1, I mean, and the performance, I did think that the performance wasn't, to the sort of standards that we was playing last season yet, but it's a good game and a great result.
I think when you say that the performance wasn't as good as last season, it really depends on the opposition. I think when you look, if you'd watched that match and you didn't know anything about the two teams, you would have just assumed that Liverpool were a mid-table mediocrity. The fact that the only time they've been beaten this season was a complete travesty and they shouldn't have lost. They are an immense team and we made them absolutely look pony yesterday. And to be fair, for everybody that was going into the game a little bit nervous, I go into games nervous all the time. It's not like I think we're going to win every game. I'm a bit worried about West Ham on Sunday, but I wasn't worried about Liverpool because I think that if you match up the sides pound for pound, everyone in football always does this. They go, "Oh, Liverpool are amazing," because they weren't amazing last season. They've lost most of their midfield and replaced it. He's done an amazing job and they've done really well. But I don't think that that McAllister is better than Rice. I think if you go through it one by one, our team's as good as theirs. Our squad might not be. And that's what it's really going to come down to. But I really thought we'd beat them 2-1. I didn't predict that there'd be two stupid goals like that. I was really encouraged when Darwin Nunez wasn't playing, Szoboszlai wasn't playing. I really thought that was a weird one for me, like playing Jota down the middle. He's a brilliant striker for them, but I think Nunez. I know Nunez came on and skied one when he should have crossed it. But I think our fan base, we've got elements of our fan base that just don't want to be happy. I watched a couple of the more well-known people, Lee Gunner, talking about how we were going to get pinged, we weren't good enough, we were never going to stand a chance, that you could tell we were going to be shit. And just think, I don't know where he's been the last couple of years, but we've been challenging for the title consistently. We're now 15 games to go and we're still in the race. And it's not an accident. We're not there by fluke. No. We've been, Liverpool missing some players. Of course, they had Mo Salah out, and you've got the injuries that they've had. But we've done the whole season without Thomas Partey and Urian Timber.
Yeah, exactly. And we're not moaning about it.
We started without Gabby Jesus. So I've recognised. We don't have a striker, but it's just lazy narrative. People flip flop so much. They go, "Oh, you never win anything without strikers," and you go, "Well, we scored more goals than we've ever scored last season without a striker." Yeah, but you never scored anything without a striker. Oh, well, Man City won the league without a striker. You need number 9. You need a number 9. It's like, well, I'm watching them play Brentford tonight with a number 9. I think they'll go on and win it 3-1, if I'm honest, from the first.
Is Haaland playing?
Yeah, he is, but he's missed an absolute sit. Well, he missed how Kevin De Bruyne, he's an unbelievable footballer, Kevin De Bruyne.
Unbelievable, mate.
He's just put a pass. It was like watching, and it was just art. It was just, you can't put it into words. He is such a cultured midfielder, and that determination to win. I imagine if we had him in our team, but it's just the nature of football at the moment that people want quick answers.
Just holding you there. So if we got offered Martin Odegaard swap for Kevin De Bruyne,
listen, anyone would take
that. What would you do? You'd take it, wouldn't you?
Well, fuck yes. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
but I know how much you like Odegaard. So I'm just.
I reckon
but you're realistic.
Martin Odegaard's dad would take that swap. Are you kidding me? Like, Martin Odegaard, if I'm right about Martin Odegaard, he has the potential to be Kevin De Bruyne. But I mean, that's going some, like that is going some. He'd have to go some. Kevin De Bruyne is Kevin De Bruyne. Like, there's no question which one of those two is a better midfielder. Odegaard's got years on him. And I think there's another thing that people always do. They go, Ivan Toney now is a brilliant player. And Ivan Toney is playing really well at the moment. He's playing well in the first half. But he's 28. When Eddie Nketiah is 28, who's to say he isn't going to have banged in 20 goals in a season with 6 penalties and one that shouldn't have stood? I'm just, call me salty. But no, I think that we get caught up in these waves. Like, we're out of the title race, I still don't think we're going to win the Premier League. But I'm just grateful that we're in it.
Yeah, I am. So, listen, when I see that team sheet, my main concern was Everts up front.
Yeah.
Jesus got injured. I was, Everett, for me, I think I've seen enough of him. And I think he weren't great in the game. I think the last
probably the last 15
minutes or so, the last 15, he got a bit, he did get a bit, threw his toys out his pram a little bit, knocked the flag out of the lino's hand.
Oh, that was funny.
He backed into what's his name? Canate? What's his name?
Canate,
yeah. He backed it. He actually got him sent off. Which
do you think that was a
sending off? A bit of a bad move, that in my opinion. It's very unsportsmanlike.
It was pretty light, wasn't it?
Well, it's worst thing about it. It's one of those where the hand comes here and he's holding this, and you just think, I don't like to see it anywhere on the pitch in any team, and I didn't like to see it, but. It's a bit of gamesmanship, isn't it? It's a bit of that German gamesmanship.
Yeah. And I also think that, when he put Jorginho in there, and I thought he's doing that because he wanted the two defensive midfield, playing like a double pivot, they call it now.
It worked though, mate.
But
he didn't play a double pivot. He didn't play a double pivot.
Liverpool,
I think give him his flowers, right? No one thought, like, I wanted Emil Smith Rowe to play. Yeah. I thought about Jorginho a lot. I thought maybe he's the kind of player. But I thought that was going to be a real midfield battle, and you wanted the energy and the young legs. And Jorginho has looked good in some games, and he's got a killer through ball. But I was wrong, and Arteta was right. And, you've got to be able to say it. You've got to be able to say, listen, when I found out really early in the morning, I did, I do these... my predicted lineup, and someone on TikTok who I follow now but wasn't following at the time pinged me to say, Jesus is injured. And I looked everywhere. I looked all over the place, and all I could see was that he was doubtful, but he wasn't injured. And then sure enough, when I realised he was out and I saw Havertz in there, I was like, first of all, I mean, what is the point of Eddie Nketiah? Second of all,
waste of time, mate, completely.
Well, if Arteta doesn't believe in Eddie Nketiah and Nelson and Cedric, then we've just got bench warmers, and it's just not worth it. Like, they're not cheap bench warmers. Those three players between them are probably about 300 grand a week.
I know Eddie Nketiah is on 100 grand a week.
110, something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I know that he got that new deal, didn't he? And he got Henry's number, which I was pissed off about, but. You can't hold on to the past for too long, I suppose.
You can also
Bergkamp's number.
But you can also say, hang on a minute, like, what are you doing? Take it. Don't get me wrong. I understand if you're going to take a 10 or an 8 or a 7, they're numbers that come up again and again. But 14, you leave that be, man. That's just retire that number. I don't think you're not, and it ain't Eddie Nketiah. Don't get me wrong, look, if we did go out and get Mbappe and he insisted on having the 14, I'd probably look the other way. But Eddie Nketiah.
The thing is, I was watching that game, and I've given Havertz a lot of stick as well, but I am starting to kind of see what he's doing in the team. I can see how he's pulling out players out of position and making these look. I can actually see what he's doing, and it does actually work. So, he looks lazy, a lazy player, but he's off the ball work. What he's doing, he's actually quite good. But
you think I can't see it? I can't.
But obviously, we don't give up.
I'm a bit biased. I don't like him.
No, because I've been against him. Well, not against him, but you know, I can actually see it. But the thing is, you don't really get praise for what you're not doing without the ball, do you? That's the thing. But I tell you what, I was watching Curtis Shaw, and it was one of them reactions to them scoring the goal, and he's going, Havertz, he's on goal. Oh, you donkey, Havertz! And then Saka scores, because it's almost like we expect him to miss, don't we?
Oh, well, come on. I want to meet someone who thought he was going to score that. I was like, I said to the guy, it's really funny because my boss at work, he was like, he's a gooner as well, and he was like, exactly what you just said, basically. Havertz, the way he pulls people out of position. And I said, I'll be honest with you, I'm not a tactician at all. I just watch football. So I don't see it. But I'll give anyone a season. I gave Pires a season. That turned out all right. You know, I gave Fabio Vieira a season and it didn't turn out right. One season you can have, right? And I said the difference, though, is that we watched Kai Havertz for 3 years at Chelsea do fuck all. And now he's come into our team and he still doesn't, I still can't see what he does. But in terms of pulling, like, I put it to you this way. If we win every game from now to the end of the season with him in the team and I still don't know what he does, it doesn't matter to me. You know, like it's just about winning. We win the games. I don't think that anyone in there. So I said to my boss, it's like when he was running on goal, first of all, Zinni to Odegaard first time. What we were doing was we were playing those first time balls really well. And that's all
that's what we were doing.
Into the path. And if you had, and here's the thing that's driving me absolutely batshit crazy at the moment. We need a lethal finisher. They said that when Odegaard was on the edge of the penalty and he was free and he took a shot and he didn't score. And they go, oh, if you had a lethal finisher. It's because if we had a lethal finisher, would he be playing in the same position Odegaard was in?
No.
Probably not. So not every ball that we've struck and doesn't go in would have landed to a finisher. But definitely if Ian Wright was playing instead of Kai Havertz, the game would have looked different and that would have been a one that. But I said the great thing about Kai Havertz is everybody knew with him running on goal he was going to miss, and so did Saka. So Saka kept up with him. Was like, I'm having this. You know what I mean? I don't know where this is going, but I ain't going in the net, and I'll have this.
I tell you what, when he missed that header, that would have been beautiful if that had gone in. But we know it's not his strong point. But it was like, come on.
Well, football's changed, isn't it? Because like I watched those some of those people like Kurt Shaw and Lee Gunner when Ian Wright misses that header. Ian Wright, fucking hell. Saka misses that header. Like he's got a toe bone head, hasn't he? But like when it comes off his nut and goes wherever, everyone's like, "Oh, he's fucking useless." It's like you can't do that to your own fucking players. You keep your. I would love there to be a special section of the North Bank in Highbury. We'll rebuild it, yeah. And I want to put all these pricks that go on about how we tore down Highbury to stand in the North Bank with me and a crew I used to stand with and start talking about our players like these mugs talk about them. You would not walk out of that place. You do not slag off your own players. Have it right. Should he have scored? Yes, he should have scored. Right?
Yeah. I have no issue though, Dan, like saying Fabio Vieira is not good enough. But I'm not gonna rip him to bits and go, he's a piece of crap, things like that. I just don't think it's necessary, is it?
I do think everyone's entitled to their own opinion, yeah.
Of course, yeah.
But there are limits to how you express your opinion. You have got to curb it. So you can't. Exactly what you said, Dan. You can't. That's sacrilege to constantly slag off your own players and your own legends. You hear what he calls Ian Wright?
Yeah, I know, mate. I'm not having it.
I'm disgusted with him. I don't watch his channel no more.
My point.
What does he? Sorry, can you say what does he call Ian Wright?
He called him a scumbag.
Well, he's not, is he?
No,
of course he's not.
He called him a puppet. He called him a scumbag. He called him all sorts of names. He's a fucking dog himself.
So
he's
like the thing.
The thing is, though,
there and you think, right? So you're slagging off Saka because he didn't do something. Could you do it? Could you get on the pitch and do what Saka does? Oh, he's not good enough. Martin Odegaard's a Real Madrid reject. And the next minute he's going, I've got to cut this stream short because I'm going to go and watch Atletico Madrid play Real Madrid. By the way, finish 1-1. And these pricks that come and mug me off on my channel that go, like we were talking about it on the live last week. Lee Gunner's like junior Gunner, whatever he is, mini me.
It's clone.
Comes on and goes, I go, we're by far the greatest team the world has ever seen. As everyone knows, we're by far the greatest team. And he goes, what? You heard of Real Madrid, you mug? And I was like, yeah, they finished second in La Liga last season, didn't they? Like we did. And last season, Lee Gunner was going, if Ancelotti doesn't win La Liga, he's getting sacked. Well, he's just got a contract extension. So that makes sense. Up until like this Sunday, they were second in La Liga still. I know I have to say Man City have just gone 2-1 up. So bollocks, but
Yeah.
I was hoping for like at least a draw there, just to keep them off us a bit.
Brentford were 1-0 up, and you've never seen a more one-sided, like how they 1-0 up. I learned something today I didn't know, so I don't know everything. You cannot be offside from a goal kick.
You cannot be offside from a throw-in either.
From a throw-in, I knew that, but from a goal kick, as long as no one touches it, and you're the first player to touch it from the goal kick. So that's how Brentford scored, and the Man City fans were going, he's offside, isn't he? And like even they didn't know.
It's like, can they still have that rule where if the goalkeeper collects the ball up and he's got it in one hand and you can come from behind him and head it out his hand? They've still got that rule. You can use it, can't you?
Yeah, I think they're such a protected species now. You'd probably be shot or something, wouldn't you?
I tell you what I noticed in that game. Luis Diaz did nothing. He was absolutely ineffective.
It was great on the Cannon. I can't remember if it was Cannon. It was one of them. They were going like if you had to do a best 11 from the match after the match, how many Liverpool players would get in it? And you go, honestly, I can't think of a Liverpool player that played that well.
No, I don't think anyone would.
And for the first time, Diego Jota didn't score against us.
Yeah, it didn't look good down the middle. I didn't think he looked that successfully down the middle. I thought it's funny because I honestly thought. I know they've got I know Endo's away, and I know that they've got a few injury problems here or there. But I was surprised by that. I was surprised by our lineup because I look at that first, and I was like, "Oh, fuck, Kai Havertz, all right." That's probably the best position he's played for.
Because the thing is, even if Darwin doesn't score, he creates havoc.
Yeah, I mean, he's a great.
I rate him. I like him.
I think we know he's a good. I mean, his goal scoring record speaks for itself at the moment, even though he misses as many as anyone in the league. But I think
it's 7. I think he's 7 goals and 7 assets, isn't it?
Yeah, 7-7. Yeah, he's 14 goals, and that's from 16 starts or something. That's not even that many starts.
Yeah, I reckon as soon as he finds the back of the net, I think somebody else said it. I think Ali McCoy said it, but he's just going to fly as soon as he starts hitting that net, isn't he? But
it depends. I mean, I think where Liverpool have done better than us this season is in rotating. Man City, I mean, if you look at the fixtures coming up, it's really hard to see Man City dropping any points at all. I mean, really don't see them dropping any points. I think if we get past West Ham, we've got a relatively easier run of games. We've got Newcastle at home, but they look in all kinds of shape at the moment.
They're a mess, aren't they, Newcastle?
Well, defensively, they are. They conceded 4 at home to Luton, didn't they?
I tell you what, I am buzzing for Luton. I love an underdog story, and it's just like what they are doing with no money. They're out the relegation zone now. I wish them all the best, and I love seeing teams like that because they believe they're fighting for their badge, aren't they? You can see it.
Reminds me of when Blackpool was in the Premier League.
Oh yeah, hey, and I tell you what, when we talk about who's going to be our new midfielder, I can see it's. You know what I'm saying, don't you?
Oh no, have you had 2 good games? Oh, let's get Andy Lokonga back.
Yes,
don't be silly.
The buzz now is Lokonga's flying. Did you see his Kevin De Bruyne ping? So I've now got this in my brain that he's our new midfielder.
If there's an infinite number of universes and realities, that's probably still the only time anyone's put Sambi Lokonga and Kevin De Bruyne in the same sentence. I know you're wearing a flowery shirt. Are you on the Marley smokes? Are you like get the old banjo out? Don't be silly. Yeah, Sambi Lokonga. I'm glad for him. I'm happy for him. He said some really nice things. He said he wanted Arsenal to win the league. But I think he's getting sold. That's that.
And I saw him say how he still wants to prove himself at Arsenal. So I have got these visions that he's coming back. And then I'm like, well, we're never going to get Kieran Tierney back. So I'm thinking, is our left back eventually going to be Tavares? I'm starting to have these.
Do you either of you want to see Kieran Tierney back? He's not
not particularly.
He's
Sadly,
injured. I know he's injured again. He's really unlucky with injury. But that's already something that would put you off. But he wasn't playing that. He isn't playing that well at Real Sociedad when he played. He was on the bench when he the game before he played.
And you get these people that go, Kieran Turner, like my left back, all that crap. It's like he was an okay left back. He's not, oh my God, and he has got an injury problem.
It's so divisive, isn't it? It's like it's another one of these. Oh, how's he let Kieran Tierney go? He's our best left back, and you go, I don't know why it's so easy. Listen, what I say about Zinchenko is he's not a shit defender. It's not the strength of his game. Let's be honest. And asking a guy to move into midfield the way he does it. Declan Rice was great on yesterday, covering that left back position. It was just really great to see that.
It was brilliant, Declan Rice. You're right.
Declan Rice was outstanding. Martin Odegaard.
Why did Zinchenko go off at half time?
Injury. He's injured.
Was it?
Yeah,
because that was probably the best 45 minutes I've seen for Kivior.
Yeah, and I'm really it was. But I thought Zinchenko into that midfield. We knew we were going to have to fight a really good midfield. So I was surprised Liverpool didn't press more. I was surprised how lackluster they were, a bit toothless. But I was really surprised at how easily we won that midfield, and it made Jorginho look just outstanding. I mean, remember how many people I started the Gooner channel on the last day of the January transfer window when we signed Jorginho, and the whole reason I started it was because I just wanted to say I think Jorginho is a great signing for us. I don't know why everyone's getting on his case. I know that we've had a bad time signing ex-Chelsea, but we've signed ex-Chelsea that I quite liked. I like David Luiz at the end. I always like Peter Cech. Yeah. He wasn't the keeper he was when he was at Chelsea, obviously. But I don't really... I could understand why we signed Willian on a free transfer. He played him far too long when it was obvious it wasn't working. But I don't know why it didn't work for Willian. So I wasn't... leaving all that Jorginho stuff to one side, I thought he was a great signing. And everyone was going, oh, yeah, he's not going to play. And I go, he's an upgrade on El Neni. That's all I see. It's like, if you sell Matt Turner and bring in David Raya, conversation over. Is David Raya better than Matt Turner?
Yes, of course.
Is it? Yes. So, right. That's that done then. And is Jorginho better than El Neni? Right. So
Much
we're
better.
all good. So there you go. That's what you call an upgrade, isn't it? You've got 25 players. They're not all going to play every game.
And the thing is, because of our squad age, we need somebody like Jorginho with that level head, his experience. He knows how to calm a game down and dictate a game. And you did see it in that game that you had Reckless. We had Reckless Deckless. He was doing all the clean-up, dirty work, and then laying the ball off to Jorginho, and it was working. And I know you said they weren't working as a double pivot, Dan, but I saw them pretty much like this all the way. Did you not see that, Lee?
I noticed that.
They were like chaperoning each other. Did you not? You saw that?
If you look at the average positions, and what you see is that, like, he's given Rice more freedom. Sorry, he's got Rice as in the 6, which is where Rice understands what he's doing.
Doing the dirty work,
and he's given Jorginho more freedom to drift and play.
He played some good balls, didn't he? I thought he had his best game he's played for Arsenal.
Yeah. I think, I'd say. But I liked. I mean, you see that when Jorginho puts a pass on a plate for someone, it's a joy. We don't have many. I think Odegaard gets so consumed by that interplay and a one touch at the edge of the box that sometimes you just want him to slip a ball through, And I think Odegaard, in temperament, is trying too hard. I think he needs to.
Greedy, in my opinion, he holds onto the ball for too long.
This is what I'm seeing with him as well. It's like in that whole game, our one-touch passing was back. The fluidity, we were so fast moving the ball, and then it gets to that position where we know it's Odegaard's sweet spot, and it's like touch, shoot. But it's like touch. He's still overcompensating with touches, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's trying too hard. I think like a lot of that is just calm down and have a go. Like I said it before the game. Like the thing that was going through my head over and over again was, and I know we talked about it, and I'm maybe oversimplifying, but for me, whether you want to call it a low block or a deep defense, whatever the fuck you want to call it, packing the defense. If you've got 8 players in the penalty area of the opposition team, and you've got 3 or 4 of your own, or maybe 2, in our case, sometimes just 1, just hit the ball low and hard, like play pinball, see what happens to that ball.
Yeah.
And with Odegaard, the frustration is that he won't just shoot. He doesn't want to lose the ball on the edge of the opponent's penalty area. And I'm like, that's where we want to lose it. You want Brentford or West Ham to pick up the ball there and try and run at you. 3 of them bomb down the pitch. Declan Rice, Saliba or Gabriel picks a ball up and pings it over the top. What I saw against Liverpool was exactly what we've seen against all the teams that come and play at us, right? The teams that come and play at us leave that gap behind. And that gap behind is Martinelli on a motorbike.
Yeah.
Oh, mate. He was on fire, wasn't he?
Another great performance from him. I was surprised he got subbed, as we said before. But
he didn't look happy.
He didn't look happy. No, he didn't.
No, he
was
didn't.
pretty pissed off. And
but you want that. But at the same time, he was dead on his feet. There wasn't much more coming out of him for the next. I'm glad he got subbed off because he hadn't got subbed off. We look at Trossard coming on.
Trossard come on nutmeg.
Mate,
person, didn't he? Brilliant little goal.
And the turn he had on the left-hand side was brilliant, wasn't it?
That's the thing. Everyone's going to talk about the nutmeg, right? Everyone's going to go, "Oh, he nutmegged him." First of all,
it was the turn for me.
Yeah, much better because
he beat players on the wing, didn't he? Yeah,
but we were doing that from the first half. The one thing that really stood out to me, whether it was Jorginho or Rice or any of the players, instead of playing the ball backwards, they turn with it. And they completely wrong foot the opposition because the opposition is expecting to go, but suddenly they're turning them. We turned them all day long. And when Trossard did it in that point of the game, runs on, cuts inside, takes a shot with his wrong foot, doesn't wait to settle himself, bam, and 3-1. I didn't celebrate 2-1 because I was still like, I predicted 2-1. But I was like, there's more goals and it's happened too early. And the way it happened as well, it's weird. It's hard to celebrate. That was Keystone Cops. If Alisson comes flying out like that, you're just, I watched that. I slowed it down. I was like watching it over and over again going, what's he thinking?
He had like a Jackie Chan moment, didn't he?
Because he couldn't punch it. He would have got sent off because it's outside the area. But he's just, why have you come out? Like, what are you, if you're going to come out, clatter both of them. Like the Chelsea keeper did against Sanchez did against us.
Because if he hadn't have flied out, Van Dijk would have had it under control, wouldn't he?
No, I don't know. I think he might have.
Well, he got a little knock from Martinelli, little shoulder bars.
Yeah, like
Martinelli
went boom and Van Dijk.
Yeah,
you know what?
He knocked him into Alisson, sort of, I thought. And then he scored the easiest goal he's ever going to score in his career, probably.
I don't know. It was the one against
Villa,
wasn't it? Yeah, where it wasn't even the keeper.
Easy.
Well, it's the same, wasn't it? And he's
yeah.
Look, we get criticised for fucking everything, right? Arteta criticised for celebrating too much.
I can't believe that. And I wanted to ask you about that.
Yeah, no. No, you're right. Who cares?
Yeah.
It's that thing, isn't it? We support our club how we want. If we want to show passion, we show passion, mate. I'm not going to have anyone tell me that.
Do you remember Jurgen Klopp getting any grief for running the line, celebrating with his players? Do you remember him getting anything?
No.
Yeah.
And Matt, he done it. I've seen him do it 5, 6, 7, 8 times.
I liked the Arteta. I liked the Arteta Jurgen Klopp fist pump at the end.
I thought it was really poignant. That's the last time Jurgen Klopp will manage a team at the Emirates.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, really.
I tell you what. At times as well, when I saw Klopp on the bench, he looked like he's checked out a little bit at times. Do you think, or is that just his look?
No, I think he's taking it in. I don't know. Listen, there's a really good debate to be had, isn't there? Jurgen Klopp, I think, for me, summed it up brilliantly when he was interviewed about leaving, and he was kind of surprised because I'm just one man. I don't play the matches. There's a huge team of us that does this. It's not about me. It's about. But that's also bollocks because we all know Jurgen Klopp's gone, and even if they bring in Xavi Alonso, whoever they bring in, Liverpool are not going to be the same team they've been for the last.
Because he's taking everything. He's taken all his coaching team.
I know. Well, that's not quite true. What's happening is that 1 or 2 of them have had desires to manage as well, so that's going to happen. But it makes sense because no one wants to come into a team where there's training, where all Jurgen Klopp's coaches are there. That's not how we used to do it at Klopp. That's not how we used to do it. He's going to have enough of that with the players. But I have a soft spot for Liverpool. I will always have a soft spot for Liverpool. Name one other team. In 1989, when we won the league at Anfield. We won the league at Anfield. Oh, City 3-1. Right.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it's Foden's second goal of the game. He's just immense, isn't he? Like, I mean, if we had a Foden, I'd be happy. But we won the league at Anfield on what is an incredibly emotional night, not long after Hillsborough. Last game of the season, played on a Friday. All the other games have been played. We've got to win 2-0. They've got 90 minutes. They never really doubted that they were going to win it. Bit of a harem scarum. Then we score. That team of supporters stood and gave Arsenal a standing ovation. Name another team that's got the... If you had a stadium full of Lee Gunner, do you think that would happen? No. There's more to this than just winning trinkets, man. There's your character, there's who you are as people, what it says about you. I was watching Mastermind early. Sorry to digress a little bit. And the missus goes, should we watch Mastermind? I go, I never know any of the answers. I know the general knowledge. I'm stupidly good at that. The first guy sits down. What's his specialist subject? The life and times of Arsene Wenger.
No way.
I shit you not. Do you know how many questions I got right?
All of them.
One.
Oh, you got one.
Mate, go and watch it on iPlayer. It's impossibly difficult.
You're a toxic Arsenal fan, mate. You know nothing about this club.
I know. I have no idea. Like, what was the second? What was the second team he managed then?
Monaco.
No.
Oh,
no. I just watched it and I don't know. It's like
the Asian team.
No, it wasn't the Asian. See, don't quote me for not knowing Arsenal. Go and watch that, and I defy you to get more than one question right.
Well, I've just got two wrong.
Who was the second French player he took over to Nagoya Grand Passat?
Not a clue. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, insane, but
did he sign Gary Lineker for Grand Passat?
No, Lineker was there after. It's a funny story about Lineker because Lineker took his apartment. So when he left his fax machine behind. So when Lineker was living in Japan, every time he sent a fax, it would have Arsene Wenger title at the top. So yeah, no, I mean, listen. The history of our club, and we didn't tear down Highbury for this. One of the questions in that was which team did he offer a replay to? Because obviously Mark Overmars scored the goal from Nwankwo. You know when Ray Parlour tries to throw it back to Sheffield United, and Nwankwo Kanu in his first game goes, this is good. I've got the ball, runs down the line. Mark Overmars, who's a bit of a... Well, he's had his issues of late, hasn't he? But he's one of them, and he's just steamed in and scored, and he should have known better. And the whole of Sheffield United are incensed because it's supposed to be a throw-in back to them, and, we've capitalised on it. And before the press conference, Arsene Wenger... It wasn't actually Arsene Wenger's idea. It was David Dean's idea. But we offered them a replay. We said, it's fair enough. We don't want to win like that. Nowadays, you'd get all of that mob going, they're lowering our standards. It's all about winning. Everything's just, we're going to have a trophy. I don't care about if it makes me a bad fan, I don't care about trophies.
It doesn't. The thing is it's about competing. Only one team can win one trophy. It's not like a joint thing. And as long as you're competing, as long as you're trying your best, and you're not mugging off the fans that are paying the money to go and watch the game. As long as they can tell that you're giving it your all.
Do you know what?
What's wrong with that?
I want to say this. You know the pictures? That's your granddad behind you, isn't it? That boxer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great photo.
The guy, I always think about that. The guy that gets in the ring, the guy that puts the gloves on, they don't both win, right? But you give credit to both of them because they're both in there. And the courage is to get in the ring. The courage is to be on the field. The courage is to play and give your best. And while you're doing that, people sitting around you smoking cigars and drinking champagne will tell you you're a mug because you lost. And I just think, get in the ring with them before you get a chance to speak. I'm proud that over the years that I've supported Arsenal, people have put on our shirt with pride. They've played like it meant something to them. And sometimes you play and you give everything and it just isn't to be. You give everything and it isn't to be. I'll never forget Ryan Giggs' goal in the FA Cup against us. Dennis Bergkamp,
what goal?
But remember, Dennis Bergkamp steps up to take a penalty.
Misses
if he scores that penalty, we're through to the final. You want to mug him off? You take a penalty. Do you know what I mean? Like, if the greatest players who put on our shirt didn't do it right every single time. Michael Jordan, the greatest NBA player of all time, he said, I don't know why the fuss is about me. I miss as many 3-point throws at the end of a game as anyone else. But the difference is I'll take them. I'll take the shot. You pass me the ball, I'll have a shot. I don't mind being the player that takes it on. All these people that sit around and go, it's not good enough, he's lowering the standards. It's like, you know what really lowers the standards? When people who can't do a thing bitch about people who can do a thing because they're not doing the thing well enough. I think I saw this comment along them lines of Michael Jordan, where he said something like, "I'm as good as I am because of all the mistakes and all the times I've failed." Don't win without failure. You have to learn, right? So what I'm saying is, it's all very well for Lee Gunner to sit there and do this thing where he goes, Liverpool 1, Arsenal 3. It's like, that drives me mad. It's like, I know what 1 is and I know what 3 is. Put your hands down, you melt, right? But then the other thing is like, and how has Saka not scored it from there? I don't know. Maybe it's because he's running 20 miles an hour and he's got a massive great bloke next to him and the ball's coming in at 50 miles an hour and he's done his best. How about you get on the pitch for a bit, Lee? And then we'll all have a nice sit around. How many trophies do you think we'd win with Lee Gunner on the pitch or as manager? Because
he'd sack the manager every other game.
Mate, he says every time he opens his mouth, he's wrong. And then he comes out and goes and celebrates. All these pricks that are talking about how shit the players are, I'm taking names. If we win the Premier League, they don't get to celebrate. And if it was on me, I'd have their photograph on the turnstiles of the Emirates go, you can't come in because you're Chelsea or something. I don't know what's wrong with you people. If you go, being Arsenal's in our DNA to win things. No, it's not. It's in our DNA to be Arsenal. Everything else is just after that. I'm not Arsenal because we're successful. I'm Arsenal because I'm Arsenal.
No. Yeah, same.
So, like, what this mentality of like, well, you know, if he doesn't win something in the first 3 years, he's got to go. Who? If he doesn't win the Champions League, like every manager before him,
like we've had that conversation before, and that there is nowhere to go, so we just deal with it, and we roll with it. There is nowhere to replace him.
Hasn't he sort of earned the opportunity?
Yeah, I believe he has.
Like, don't you think that we were getting knocked out of the Europa League by Unai Emery's team, and no one was turning up to the stadium to watch it because it was fucking boring. And now we're top of our group. We've got a last 16 game against Porto, and everyone's going, it's not good enough. Well, where have you been for the last 20 years? It hasn't been good enough.
No, he does deserve to be there at the moment. I without a doubt.
He must be.
He does. Hey,
I think with signings of shit, and you go, well, all right. So you don't like Declan Rice, you don't like Martin Odegaard. Who are these people?
I know you said it as well before, Dan. It's like all teams make shit signings at times.
Apart from maybe City, like one shit signing.
Kevin Phillips.
Yeah, Calvin Phillips is the only bad player, I think. But, Pep Guardiola is a genius, right? So Mikel Arteta's not as good as Pep Guardiola. It's like George Foreman wasn't as good as Muhammad Ali. Does that make him shit? Like, no, right? No. Certain times you're born in the wrong age. Do you know what I mean? Because if you were born when Pete Sampras was around, that was just that, wasn't it? Like Roger Federer, brilliant.
Even Klopp acknowledged it the other day. He said, "What am I famous for coming second?"
One league he's won. Yeah. If it hadn't have been for Pep Guardiola, I see him. He'd probably done 3 in a row.
Yeah, but he said it, didn't he? I'm famous for coming second. Basically,
but he understands. All right, fair enough that Jurgen Klopp won the Champions League in his first 3 seasons, and Arteta hasn't done that. So maybe we can all agree that Arteta isn't as good. Yeah, exactly. But that's what I'm saying. They go, well, we should even that Dan Potts. Well, I've got no beef with Dan Potts at all.
Yeah, I don't mind.
He was like, if we get rid of Arteta, I don't want another project manager like Arne Slot or Xavi Alonso. I want a proven winner like Diego Simeone, who's won 2 in 13. Like Ancelotti, who's not coming to Arsenal. Let's be honest. And he was at Everton and didn't win shit. And he's like, if we don't get one of them, that's who we've got to bring in, And you think, well, that's not happening, everyone.
It's not happening.
There's no one out there. There is no one out there that we can get. We've got. I think it's growing. I think it is growing, and I think we're going to be a force. I believe we are. But we've got. My worst fear is for say the fans get the pressure of the ball into Saki and Arteta like they did with Wenger, and then he goes somewhere else and starts winning everything because he's learned his trade at Arsenal. When he goes, all right, fuck you then. I'll go somewhere else and fucking show you what I can really do.
I think you're right, but I think one of the things that we have to accept about the Cronkies, and you can love them or hate them for this, is they don't give a hot fuck what we think. Right?
Of course they don't.
They care. They will care if we stop going. So I always say to people that are really angry, tell you what, don't go to the stadium, don't buy merchandise. But all these fans that are lowering the atmosphere, I obviously wasn't at the Emirates yesterday, sadly, but the atmosphere electric. And that's the true Arsenal fan. A real Arsenal fan goes, look, I'm not mad about Kai Havertz. I'm not sure about him yet. And I don't necessarily think Jorginho should be playing in the midfield. And I'm worried about Zinchenko. But when it comes to it, I'm going to sing and I'm going to cheer and I'm going to give 100%.
And I'm going to be honest as well. When I saw Jorginho in the lineup, I'm like, holy shit.
Of course.
Yeah. But for me, and but I've said before that I'm at panic stations if it's Jorginho without Rice, but I always was confident that they will work well together, and it worked.
I think it was brilliant. I think it was brilliant. I didn't expect it. I expected the worst. Put my hands up. I didn't expect the worst.
So you kind of felt
the proud of them.
Did you feel the same though?
Now Gary Neville, Jamie Carragher on Sky Sports slagging off the celebrations after. I see a clip somewhere
Carragher's
from another channel. Richard Keys.
I'll use that word.
Richard Keys, of all people.
No, well, hang on. I've got to say something here because he's been triggering me for a while now, Richard Keys, and you suddenly realise if Richard Keys isn't talked about slagging off Arteta in his celebrations, he's not talked about for anything. I thought he died. I didn't know he was still. I was like, oh God, is he still on telly? And they go, no, not really. Right, well, that's Richard Keys for you then. Like you go down to the Gunners or the Highbury Barn or any of the pubs around Arsenal after a match, there's always one silly soppy sod in there going, oh, don't think no shit. And you just think, oh, all right, mate, shut up. Do you know what I mean? We celebrate how the fuck we want, right? And
exactly.
there's that, I don't know what his name is, and I quite like him, but he said some ridiculous things. He's a northern kid. He takes his shirt off. He does a watch along, and he takes his shirt off every time we score. And I'm like, mate, I'm not trying to body shame or anything, but maybe put a vest on under the shirt because I can't. Do you know what I mean? I'm not.
Yeah,
it's like me taking, look at my gut. Do you know what I mean? That's not what this is about.
It's the guy that's called developer football, isn't it? Football developer guy.
No. He cracks me up. He's had it. They lose their shit, man. There's too many energy drinks going on. There's too much.
I watched them.
What? Do you remember when standing in the North Bank would be blokes my age going, yeah, he's
not good enough, mate.
Yeah. But it wasn't like, it's like, but I will say this, all of these people that celebrate on watch-alongs, obviously they're playing up to the camera or whatever, they maybe over-celebrate, right? But that's normal.
That is.
And I don't want, Arteta can't win. Because all of the haters that come on, particularly on my channel, there's been a lot of people going, oh, you just love Arteta because he's good looking. I'm like, it's never even occurred to me that he's good looking. I don't give a shit what he looks like. I didn't fancy Wenger. I didn't fancy George Graham. Terry Neal wasn't my cup of tea. None of the Arsenal managers I've lived through, I've never thought, oh, he's fit.
Yeah, but Herbert was a hottie.
Herbert is a hottie.
It's ridiculous of him saying that you only like Arteta because he's good looking. You're not the one who's saying it. The person who said it is the one who's saying he's good looking.
But we've been there as well when we've been on the channel with you as well. And these people are going, oh, you just love Arteta, blah, blah, blah. And I said, like, have you actually watched the show? Because there's been criticisms of Arteta.
Yeah, the best criticism so far. It's one of the best ones. He does make me laugh. There's a guy called Lee Gunner Speaks Facts, and he comes on.
It's quite good.
It is funny as fuck. Because I did a show the other day. I wasn't feeling 100%. And I did a show that wasn't to camera, so I just recorded it and then it takes much more work to make a show with loads of pictures because you've got to go and get all the pictures.
Yeah.
But he come on. Bear in mind that his little picture is Lee Gunner, and he goes, too scared to show your face now, huh? I was like, coming from you, you're not even. So he always goes on about I'm part of the brown envelope matrix, and I was like, no, mate, is this the gold envelope?
Gold, yeah.
I get paid in cash by Arteta for saying that he's making mistakes in gold envelopes.
Just come back from a barbecue with a do.
Yeah. Barbecue pictures of Lee Gunner.
I think what we're avoiding is the Saliba Bozo Gene moment.
Oh, don't use that word. Oh, he uses that word.
Yeah, just so like you're allowed to make a mistake, aren't you?
Yeah. But it was like he was shielding the ball, and there was no miscommunication at that time. It's sometimes just hit it out, guys.
I will say this. We are expecting. We need Saliba to be fit now for the next however many games. So we play another 2 games in the Champions League, 17 more games, right? And against Forest and against Liverpool, he's looked weak under a bit of.
I think Gabriel's been our standout defender this season.
He has, no question.
Well, mind you, if that goal didn't go in, it would have been a penalty anyway, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I know, and that would have been really super harsh on Gabriel.
Because it was a handball, yeah.
Yeah, it was one of them ones where you're watching it going replay, and I just went straight to the toilet. I was like, oh, fuck this.
Yeah, I saw it and just went, yeah, handball anyway, whatever.
No, but I was like joking about it, going, yeah, they've got to give a penalty. They've got because there's a chance it could miss the penalty. Like,
yeah.
Let Nunez take the penalty.
Yeah, he might hit the post. Yeah,
might hit both posts. But like that whole thing of going, it is like watching. You know, like it doesn't. I don't think it happens in other sports in the same way. You know, if you watch an Olympic figure skater and they're doing this amazing triple salto and they land it badly and fall, you don't go Bozo Gene prick. You go, look, I can't do that. You know, I can't. I've never been any good at football. So watching a young player like Saliba, who's graceful, artful, reads the game well. I mean, what am I doing talking about? Like, if you put a pair of boots on me, I'd be on my arse more times than I was standing up.
Listen, Dan, even Tony Adams, Rio Ferdinand, John Terry, Bobby
mistakes,
Moore, all the great
Virgil van Dijk
made them mistakes.
Virgil van Dijk,
yeah, best defender in the league, in my opinion, best centre half anyway.
You know, some of these people that want these microwave wave players that are just all ready to go, they expect that there will never be a mistake. They just expect it. That's it. They think that's it.
Amazon Prime generation. I want a league and I want it now. Well, okay. What we're going to do is we're going to totally rebuild a side. We were 8th. We were going nowhere. We had Mustafi. We had Kashel. We had like players that were just Kolasinac. We had shit players, and we've got to get rid of all of them. And Özil, who's not really up for it anymore, and Aubameyang, who's an ego. And we've got to get rid of all of these players, and everything about it's got to change. We've got to engage the fans again, and that might take us 4 years. Bollocks, we're not waiting 4 years. All right. Well, what we'll do then is we'll kidnap Guardiola. We'll set fire to the Etihad. We'll have Kevin De Bruyne, Rodri, and Diaz, and we'll steal them and make them play for us. And we'll bribe everything. What do you want? Like, and in the end, what I really believe is because it's been 20 years since we won the league. A lot of these hater fans, you know, the people like Lee Gunner and those guys, they think that when we win the league, their lives will be better and they'll be happy and they'll find girlfriends. And the truth is, it won't be. Winning. If you don't enjoy the journey. If you don't love your club, the way we're playing now, I don't care if we win the league. They will do the best they can. You have to hope. You have to pray. You have to. I mean, look. Let's face it. Man City are walking through teams at the moment. How are you supposed to live with that? How are you supposed?
It's like, look at what we have done in the community. You know, around the team. You know, like the fans. He has done all that. He's brought them fans back, hasn't he? That is a massive thing, and. You can't just take that for granted. You know, he has changed so much, the guy. And
if you fell into a coma, if you'd got hit by a car leaving the Emirates when we got beaten by Frankfurt in the Europa Cup, right? And Unai Emery was still in charge, and they woke you up in time for Sunday's game, and you watched it, would you have a complaint to make?
Not one.
You'd be like, oh, well, we haven't won the league yet. What? Like, no, you would just go, fucking yes. I'm excited. That's how I felt last season, all the way through last season. That's why I started the channel. So I got my Arsenal back. I love it again. I care again.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the players care again. And they are going to make mistakes, and they are still the young team in the league. I mean, even with Jorginho playing in there. And it's ridiculous, isn't it? I'm thinking if Jorginho's an old man. He's young enough to be my son. It's really worrying. But like, you look at it.
He's got a bit about him and all, like personality-wise, Jorginho.
I tell you what,
after the game when they given him the man of the match little thing. Used to be a bottle of champagne, but now it's like a little.
I know, yeah.
And I've seen a couple of interviews with Jorginho, and I've seen bits of little interviews with him and the other members of the team, and he looks like a really likable, decent guy, doesn't he?
really
You can
does,
see, you can see that he's a moral. Like, we might not rate El Neni, but I get it. He's actually a bit of a glue. He's a bit of glue there, though, isn't he? That gives us that spirit. What I did read yesterday was that Jorginho is going to have his contract extended by a year. And he's already took, and he's already took all his badges with El Neni. So I probably think Jorginho and El Neni might stay behind. Do you think?
Maybe, yeah, maybe. That was funny because I know was it you were saying you don't really like Tom Canton, the Gooner.
Not particularly. No.
He did the cringiest interview with Jorginho. Because he totally overestimated the guy's English, and he goes, "How do you sum up your position?" Jorginho's like, "Sorry, I don't understand." And he goes, "How do you summarize? How did it feel?" And he goes, "Oh, I felt okay." It's like, and he suddenly go, "Actually, do you know what? Jorginho's been in London a long time. I think he's just baited him. I think he's just like."
Where's that interview? Is it on his channel?
It's on Gooner Talks. It's an audio clip. Yeah.
You know, I respect his right to say what he wants, but sadly, I do believe that he believes everything the team says, and that's that with the guy. You know, and
we are a broad church, right? We all have our different opinions. But it's like family, you know, like get together. If you have a large get together at Christmas, don't tell me that you get on with everyone. Like, you know, there's a mad racist uncle at the end of the table, and you're like, oh fuck, you know.
Yeah. And then you've got, and then you've always got the uncle that wants the kids to sit on the knee, haven't you? As well?
No.
No. But yeah, no. So no, I have nothing. I have nothing against Tom, but I do think he does anything you say even critically against the club, he'll go a bit over the top with his defensiveness.
It's funny because I totally get your point, by the way. And I was actually listening to it today. I went on a walk and I was listening to him today, and I do find it a little bit, you know, paid by the club kind of stuff, and it's a little bit pro. But I don't. What I would just say is like when it gets. That's why I don't listen to them that way. The worst thing you can say about a podcast is just stop listening to it.
Because if you question anything he says, he becomes seriously defensive and passive aggressive.
Well, I don't think his format allows for a lot of that. I like the formats. I like the canon. I think those the two that did the. There's a load I love. There's a load I like. I like Deluded Gunner. There are a load that I really like. I like. I like Deluded.
I actually quite like Deluded Gunner as well until he celebrates a goal.
What is it with young people and celebrating? Keep your clothes on. That's all I'm asking for. Yeah. I'm not saying you can't be excited. I'm saying like imagine you're at the match. When I had a season ticket in the clock end, right? One season, my stepdad managed to get a season ticket in the clock end, and I was stood ahead of the guy who always took his top off because he had a massive cannon tattoo on his back. And don't get me wrong, it's not that he's like taking his top off. I can live with that. But that fucking... when you get a season ticket and the guy behind you just talks shit non-stop and you're like, oh, all right then.
And when we score, Deluded Gunner always goes, oi, 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 switch on. That always...
I like, you know who I really like? Goldbridge. I can't speak.
I like Goldbridge.
Yeah,
I like Terry Fleurs, football terrace, and I like Mark Goldbridge as well. Yeah.
I think Mark Goldbridge is like Ricky Gervais out the office. Some of his analogies are so good.
But I think he's got the biggest channel, isn't he?
Yeah, 1.9 million subscribers. Are you having that?
I tell you what, I really.
I don't know about AFTV. I think have they got a similar amount?
Done now. That's done now. Like AFTV, I've got nothing but love. James, I still think he's really good on that. Don Robbie, like he's a hero. I love him, but I mean, it's so boring now. I like Turkish, but
I like Cecil.
Cecil's all right, but Cecil's a little bit like someone's younger brother. Do you know what I mean? He's always happy with everything.
He still annoys me. I can't remember his name, man. The little guy. He always wears the art. I can't remember his name.
Mate. Like when it was him and Claude, I always just think, God, it feels a bit like Claude's his carer. Do you know what I mean? It's like I'm not trying to be horrible or anything, but it's always a bit like I wouldn't ask him a
his job.
Is it?
Yeah, he's a carer.
Well.
I tell you what, though.
Maybe that's like cleaners that don't go home and clean their own
What's
house.
his name, Dan?
Ty.
Ty, is it?
Ty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ty. It's just nonsense, isn't it? It comes out of his mouth like 15 times. He says something stupid, and this thing he does where he goes, and I just want to start off the show by saying, God bless King Charles, and he goes on this monologue about, you know, and my heart goes out to who lost his dad, and it's like, mate, just the football, yeah.
And then he goes, I'd like to thank the NHS, the hospital workers, the porters, the fire brigade.
And the mum of the guy in the fire brigade, and all.
I liked that bit where we lost that game, and he said it was raining though. That clip, yeah.
Only on us. It was only raining on us.
Yeah, it was only raining on us. But there is some good content creators. Like I like Curtis Shaw. I do like Curtis.
I listen. I'm kind of if I'm honest, I'm like everybody else. I'm sure we're all the same. You find the ones you like, and you tend to watch.
Yeah.
And then you move on to another one.
It's like, you know, I like Curtis. I like Wax Online.
I think
I like
for me, I think for me it's the Canon podcast. If we just won a game like Liverpool, they're the ones I want to listen to first, because they more closely resemble what I think, right? I will go, if Tottenham have lost, of course I'll go to Expressions straight away to watch.
Yeah, it goes mad.
Oh mate, all the time.
You watch
endlessly funny.
You watch Sava. Do you watch Sava?
I've seen him on the terrace.
Yeah, it's like I like.
Fan. Is that the Liverpool fan?
No, Tottenham fan, Savvy or Sava.
Oh yeah, I'll probably see
goes on the football terrace a lot.
Yeah.
I like. Sorry, go on.
I like Terry on the football terrace, but Terry is very clickbaity.
No, the one thing that bugs me about Terry, and it's not his fault, it's my fault. You know, like I have a bug about it. It's when he misuses words. He uses words that are too long, and he goes, "That's not what that means." And he'll say stuff like 200%. He goes, "That's not fucking possible." Out of 100, you can't have 200 out of 100. But things like that, that's my problem. That's not his problem. There was a moment on yesterday's Football Terrace I watched yesterday where some guy put the name in, and he was a guest, and he was a first-time guest, and Terry just said to him in a very polite way, "How do you pronounce your name?" And the guy goes, "I knew you were going to get it wrong." And Terry goes, "Look, sorry, it's just I'm dyslexic, and sometimes and you just think, fair play, man. You know what? Fair play. They didn't get defensive. Don't get pissy with people because they can or they can't read and they have dyslexia or they don't. You know, like everyone's got their thing. And I do like Terry Hughes. Terry Flew is definitely an Arsenal fan, closet Arsenal fan, because he's.
I agree. Hey, do you know the lady called She Knows Arsenal?
Yeah, that's his girlfriend.
Yeah.
I hate to be that person. Yeah, I hate to be that person, but she's actually got good ball knowledge and she's absolutely beautiful.
So are we.
The
only criticism, again, and this is my fault, you know, like I don't deserve a platform, take it off me. But the truth is, the way she calls it Arsenal, and I'm like, I just want to say, any American fans watching this, you don't pronounce the R, right? Listen to us. We don't call it Arsenal. We don't call it the Arsenal, and he's not Trossard. It's Trossard and Arsenal. That's it. Thanks for coming. I hope it's been useful to you, but it's just
and it's not Kiwior, it's Kiwior.
I don't get triggered by Kiwior, but do you know what's interesting? We all call it. Everyone calls him Jakob. His name's actually Jakob. In Polish,
it's Jakob, isn't it?
The J. You don't. It's not German.
And is that
Polish people?
Is that Duran? Is it Durian or Urian? It's Durian, isn't it?
I don't know that one. I'll be honest with you. I don't know enough Dutch, but it's probably the opposite of what I've been saying for the last year.
Yeah.
All right, then, guys. Let's just give our predictions for the West Ham game.
2-0.
We're going to call it a night. It's getting a bit late. I have to get up at 5:30.
West Ham will win 2-0.
No, Arsenal 2-0. Havertz and Martinelli. I'm even calling the goals.
I'm going. West Ham will win 2-0, did you say, Dan?
No, Arsenal 2-0, Havertz and Martinelli. Dan's going 2-0 West Ham because he's a fake toxic fan.
I've been paid. I'm getting.
Yeah.
My envelope was a little light, so fuck all of you. I'll have 2-0 to West Ham. Come on, you Hammers.
Oh my God, I can't believe it. And you thought we beat you predicted 2-1 against Liverpool when you're saying 2-0.
In fairness, I'm doing a video a bit later on where I go through all my predictions and who I think is going to win the league. Honestly, I predict that we're going to beat West Ham. But I just want to say it's not a given. There's 15 games to come. Just when you think you're not turning up and walking past West Ham, they've not won a home game in 3. They're in terrible shape at the moment, but wouldn't it be just typical if we went there and they got a 2-2 again?
Well, they beat us at the Emirates, didn't they?
They beat us at the Emirates somehow. Make that game make sense because
I can't make it make sense because we have, how many shots on goal do we have? 20 odd?
104.
Dan, are you doing a show on Thursday night?
I haven't thought about it, but yeah, probably. Lee, I'll add you to the WhatsApp group if you're around. And what I do is I usually post in that when the shows are. You can either the links in there if you can make it. You can make it. If you can't, you can't.
Okay.
But yeah, hopefully we do another show on Thursday.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So we're going to say good night. Oh, sorry, I ain't done my prediction. I'm going to say 3-1 Arsenal. Same score as we did against Liverpool.
So I'll say 2-0. I'll say 2-0 Arsenal as well then.
Yeah, we're far too positive here, mate. This ain't working. This ain't right.
So thank you, Dan,
for
the channel. Don't forget, everybody. His link is pinned. Is the pinned comment. So it'll be right at the top of the comments. Link to his channel's there. Go and subscribe. Go and watch his channel. It's brilliant. Scott, thank you, Scott, all the way from New Zealand.
I was waiting for you to introduce me because now we got Dan in this show at the start of the show. You introduced Dan and forgot about me. I think sod you. You didn't even introduce me. Yeah, you didn't even introduce me. So 1 hour, 1 minute in. Hi, I'm Scott. Yeah, no, I'm in New Zealand. I'm an Arsenal fan.
Scott, man. Scott's actually created me an intros for my videos, which I really appreciate.
I've tried it.
Put it at the end. Put it at the end. Don't put it at the beginning. You don't have channels big enough for intros. Put it at the end. It will kill your viewership. It will kill your viewership. I'll talk to you about it offline. But
Dan was giving me some advice about that.
I used to have one. I used to have one at the beginning, and it was 10 seconds, and the drop off is huge.
Oh,
so it's better just go straight into it. Tell them what you're going to do. Go straight into it, and that's that.
All right. I'll do that. Thanks for the advice.
I will say. But do use the tune. Well, the top tune's really good, and the second one's got a really wicked sample of you in it as well. So they're definitely worth using. Just do 10-second intro of you speaking, and then cut in a bit, and then go back to the thing. But don't have it right at the beginning.
But Dan's only saying my music was okay because I'm on a video with him.
Yeah, I mean, if you weren't here, I'd say it's Pony. I could do better than that.
Well,
a couple of spoons hanging on a thigh.
it is pretty amateur, but I'll get there.
No, it's not. It's brilliant. I think you're talented. Anyway, I'm gonna say goodnight.
Thanks,
and
guys.
I might be seeing you on Thursday then on Dan's channel. If not, be seeing you next week on this one. And I wish you all well and God bless.
Be lucky.
Come on, you guys.